6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, I'm going to stop right. I can do 24 and then 30. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is, 12. I just heard a 12. So there's a 12 and a 12. So that's my lowest common multiple. And that's going to be my common denominator. So I need to change this one here. So 5, 6 equals to my new denominator, which is 12. How did I get from 6 to 12? I had to multiply it by 2. Whatever I do to the top, I got to do, or the bottom, I got to do the top. So 5 times 2 is 10. That's my new fraction. 3/4, extend my fraction bar, equals, my new denominator is 12. Got from 4 to 12 by multiplying it by 3. Whatever I do to the top, I need to do to the bottom. 3 times 3 equals 9. Now I'm ready to subtract out. 10 twelfths minus 9 twelfths equals 1 12. So while I have you on this one, oops, I'm sorry about that. Can you tell which is the largest fraction then? Yeah, because 5 6 is equivalent to 10 twelfths. 3/4 is equivalent to 9 twelfths. So which is the greatest fraction? 5 6 is greater than 3/4. Okay, very good. So do you see how when we found the equivalent fractions, we were able to do it? You can also get your fraction strips, and I'll show you when we're doing that, where you can have your 5 6. Just had my fraction strips here. So you see how we did this one in class, and it's in your, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, and then it was 3/4. Well, this is 1, 2, 3. You see how that is 5 6 is much larger than 3/4, because this is 1, 2, 3 versus the 5 6, which would be right here. Okay, so then we're able to prove it both ways. All right, let's look at number 22. And number 22 reads that, I need a new pencil. Okay, 22 reads that Tiffany ran 5 6 of a mile. Shane ran 3/4 of a mile. Who ran farther? How much did they run? All right, so let's look at this. 5 6 and 3/4. So we're needing to see who ran further. So what are we going to do? We'll need to take the difference, but do we have the same denominator? No. And what I should have done is get my colored pencils. On my equation, we have two questions here. Who ran further or farther? And then how much? Need to circle my numbers. And then I need to underline all my pencils are gone. Then I need to go ahead and underline the unit of measure or the label. Well, here the unit of measure is mile. Okay. Then I need to bullet my work. And this is, I'm going to put T for Tiffany, ran 5 6 miles. And S for Shane, ran 3/4 mile. First question is who ran blank? So blank ran farther. And by how much? So it's whoever it is ran farther by blank miles. I'm going to abbreviate that. So it's whoever our winner is here is we're going to put their name here. So now let's look at it. So let's come over here, and I have my 5 6 and I have my 3/4. No matter what I do, whether I've decided I had to add it or subtract it, I still need to find the common denominator. So again, I'm going to draw my little rectangle box. Draw my line, make my columns, number my columns. Okay. Put in my denominator, 6 and 4. So I have 12. Whoops, I'm going to stop there because I know that there's 8 and here's 12. Did I find my lowest common multiple? Yep. So here's my LCM, which is equal to 12, which means that 12 is my common denominator. So I need to change this to have a denominator of 12. So here I have 5, 6, extend my fraction bar, and this is 12. How did I get from 6 to 12? I multiplied it by 2. Whatever I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. So it becomes 10/12. That's my equivalent fraction. I'm over here now to 3/4, extend my fraction bar, equals, put my 12. How did I get from 4 to 12? I multiplied by 3. Times 3, so that's 9. Now the question was, we're looking to see who ran farther. Well, let's look at my equivalent fractions. 5, 6, that was Tiffany. 3/4 was Shane. Who ran further? Tiffany at 10/12 or Shane at 9/12? Yeah, it was Tiffany. Tiffany's only 2/12 away from being a whole, whereas Shane is 9/12 away from being a whole. So I'm going to put over here, Tiffany ran farther. And I'm going to put Tiffany's name again. She ran farther by how many miles? So now it's telling me I have to take the difference. So I'm going to put a subtraction sign here, and this will be 10/12 minus 9/12 equals 1/12. So she beat him by 1/12 of a mile. By 1/12 miles. Okay? And that's the way you would do it. So I'm going to move that there, so in case you needed to see that again. And make sure that you have your documentation and your color code. All right, let's look at the next page. You only have 2 problems on this page. We're looking at number 24 and number 26. So number 24 reads, the Ortega family made 15/16 pound of confetti. Let me enlarge this. There we go. For the annual fiesta celebration in San Antonio. They used 1/4 pound to make confetti-filled eggs. So how much confetti is left to use next year? Okay, so they made almost a full pound. How far away are they from a full pound? 1/16 pound. So that's not very much. It's just a small amount. All right, so now let's look at this. First things first is I need to put brackets around my question. So what's my question? Very good. How much confetti is left to use next year? The next thing is I need to, very good, circle my numbers. The next thing I need to do is underline units of measure. And it's pound. Okay? Next thing I need to do is bullet my work. So, they made 15 pounds of confetti for the annual. So, it's going to be made 15/16. I'm going to put LB for pound of confetti. The next important information, used 1/4 pound, LB, period. Okay, so they used that much to fill the eggs. So how much confetti is left to use it? Well, I'm going to look at it. My subject is confetti, so it'll be blank pounds of confetti is left to use next year. You could also phrase it as they have blank pounds of confetti to use. That's another way. I was trying to think. My head was going 100 miles an hour. All right, so now I've got to move my work over here, my operation. So the operation I'm going to use is going to use subtraction. I'm going to put sub. Okay, did that. Orange. This is yellow. Put my bullets here. I rephrased my question, so I'm going to draw my arrow here. Okay? All right, now I'm ready to start. So if I'm taking away, it's going to be, because if I have a bulk of something and I've only used a part of it, then I'm going to be subtracting. So I have 15/16 minus 1/4. I'm going to circle my denominators. I'm going to make my box. Label my boxes. Put my denominators in. I'm going to leave the 16, I'm going to leave the 16 alone in case I come up with something. So that's 8, 12, and 16. Well, look at that. My LCM, my lowest common multiple, is 16, which means my common denominator, I'll just put CD for common denominator, is equal to 16. So over here, do I need to do anything with this? No, that's done. But I'm going to change my 1/4 to a fraction that has 16ths in it. So how did I do it? Well, 4 goes into 16 4 times because 4 times 4 equals 16. Whatever I do to the bottom, I've got to do to the top. 1 times 4 is 4. Now I'm ready to subtract out. I have 15/16 minus 4/16 equals 11/16. And now I'm done. Oops, I'm so sorry about that. 11 is a prime number. Only can be multiplied 1 times itself. Therefore, I can't reduce this number anymore. We're done. Nothing can go into 11. That will also go into 16. So we're finished. And so my answer over here is A. Let's look at our multi-step problem over here. It says Roy has 5/8 cup of milk. How much milk does she have left after she doubles the recipe for the smoothie? So we're only looking at the milk. So I need to put in brackets the question. Question, how much milk does she have left after she doubles the recipe? Okay. I need to circle numbers. Well, I know that there's something odd. She doubles. So I need to see where she's coming from. So I'm going to consider that as a label. Doubles is 2 times as much. All right, so now I'm going over to my chart. And since I'm looking for milk, doubles milk, I'm looking at milk here. Okay, so here I'm at. It said double, so I know that 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 2/4. So here I'm going to bullet. She drinks 5/8